And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben, and this is my review for Sweet Tooth, a Netflix original series.
What does mine say? Sweet! What about mine? Sweet!
Sweet Tooth.
This is a non-spoiler review. I will be doing ending explained and what's going to happen in season 2, but not in this video. This you can just watch before your heart's content, and there won't be spoilers. I'm just talking about whether you should watch this. Let me know in the comments down below if you're excited about this. Have you read the graphic novel? But for now, let's jump in. A boy who is half human and half deer survives in a post-apocalyptic world with other hybrids. So there is 8 episodes, about 50 minutes a piece, and when you get to the end of the season 1, you're going to be really annoyed because you're probably going to have enjoyed it so much that you want the second season right now, damn it, right now. I thoroughly enjoyed this, so that's just like kind of my review right at the beginning. Watch this, put it on your list. It's really entertaining. If you're looking for an escape adventure, a journey adventure, grounded in reality but also very fantastical in a world that could be. If you take the graphic novels from which this is based off, or comics, there's multiple volumes. I think they've done it a justice, but they've also kind of done twisty things on it, whatever works for them, I guess. One of the main characters, Tommy Jeb, is no longer white. He's African American in this series, so you can see that they've changed a few things to make things right for what is appropriate to be right now in the current state of affairs of where we live in the world in 2021. That's what you get, and so we just kind of have to go, okay, cool, let's see what they do with it. And for the most part, I think they do an excellent job. We have Gus, who is half deer, half boy, and I think the actor that plays him is fantastic. He brings so much to his role. A lot of the times when you get kids roles, sometimes you just don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if they're going to have to grow up into the role or learn how to act or have a bunch of screen presence. This one, I feel like they lucked out, which is probably why they cast him. He's got a lot of screen presence. He's got some decent acting skills. He is able to bring the emotional realism to what you think a kid like that would experience. So if you're living in a post-apocalyptic world, if you've seen the trailer, he has to move from the only home he's ever known and venture out into the world to find his mom, and that's the adventure that we go on. And along the way he finds Jeb, or Jeff, is this larger-than-life character. He was an American football player. He is strong, kind of an assassin, has a really dark storyline which I really like, and these clashing worlds kind of come together and you watch them form a relationship over the episodes. In amongst that, we have the storyline of what's going on with the disease, as they call it, the sick in this series. At the same time, we have the half-breeds, or the hybrids as they call them. They look like different types of animals. Some are more animal than others, some are more human than others. Gus is half deer. We follow his storyline as we go along this adventure. One of the most amazing things about this series, and it's something I don't often talk about, is the score or the composer behind this. It's not a person I've heard of before, but the score is fantastic. It takes you to the zone, to the adventure place. He was part of the crew that worked on the score and the music for Lord of the Rings, so it's really epic in nature. It's absolutely a character. I'm doing this a lot with my hands. I'm being very expressive to try and show you how invested I was into the score, at least, because I thought they did such a fantastic job, or he did such a fantastic job at the composing, really getting across to you what you need to be feeling in each moment. When there's a heightened moment, it's not in your face, but it's definitely driving the story forward exactly what it's needed. And so the lush scenery that we often get, the story is like the journey of the world where most people are, there is electricity, but that's few and far between. We're using horsepower, literally horses, where things are running out, so people are scavenging. We're still trying to defeat this disease, the sick. It comes in various different waves. And so there's a whole lot going on. Along that way, we meet other characters that you will like, and there's a few that I won't spoil for you or don't like, and there's all these hardships that they go through. I thought the way the pacing of the story flows, I think is done very well. We keep the center gravity, the center storyline of Gus and his companion, at the core premise. That's what it is. And then it's interspliced with kind of flashbacks of what has happened, some other storyline arcs that is going along the way, and you never really lose you're placing as to what's happening. You always remembering, oh, okay, this was what was happening with Gus. Even when the story tends to spend a whole majority, like a half an hour segment, on what happened previously, showing us what happened with this world. And it's a very clever way to kind of build up backstories for characters we don't really know much of or don't really care much about at that moment. And then when you get back to the present timeline, you're like, oh, okay, now I understand why they're feeling that way or why they act that way. And that is how pretty much this series gravitates towards the ending. I would say that the last episode I had mixed feelings about, because we had already had kind of our arc for this series. There's a lot of monologuing in this last episode, especially in the latter half of the last episode. They're kind of setting up for what's going to happen in the second season, and they do this thing which a lot of series do, is place your characters in various places, and you're like, okay, it's one of these. If we don't get a second season for this, it would be ridiculous, because there's no ways that this was an ending to the storyline. They'd have to just like do a feature film or a short or something to wrap it up, because it would be ridiculous to end it. But I'm pretty sure we'll get a second season at least. I hope we get a few more, because there's a great, vibrant, interesting story, once we've seen before but done in a different way, as in that storyline with, the post-apocalyptic future. Here we have these hybrids and we have the disease, and that's, a clashing, two sides of one coin, as somebody says in the series, which I think is a lot of fun to see what they do with those characters. For the most part, the grounding of the story, the journey that you go on, is controlled by our core protagonists. And it really works. So we have that amazing score, and we have our two main amazing protagonists and a few others along the way as we get to meet them as we go further into those episodes. Very enjoyable. I think you're going to enjoy this. I'm giving this a straight up A. Let me know in the comments below how excited you are for this, or once you've seen it, what you thought about it. We'll be doing an ending explained and what's happening next. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.